What's happening, Chuck?
What's happening? Let me get rid of this. Alexa, shut the fuck up. There we go.
No doubt,
Studio. Boom, man. Let's see how we make this work.
no doubt, no
No,
doubt.
no, there we go. That's my man. All right, baby. A couple minutes early here. I got this thing on TikTok. I got this thing on Facebook, on YouTube. And what time is it? Are we early?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
5 minutes early. All right, we got a couple minutes to wrap here. Let me tell everybody a little bit about you, dude.
All right, hey man, I'm here in Newark. Been wholesaling for a little under 2 years. I went that first year without anything, and that's when I figured I needed to mentor. So here I am ever since, and working on closing the third now. So
Sweet.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's been a hard climb, but I really appreciate the program. I think it's heavily underrated because
It's right. Featuring program.
what's that?
So you're in the C4 program, right?
Yeah, of course. Yep. I mean, it to me one of the greatest things about it is it allows you to go under property that's underwater, which is a huge amount of properties in Jersey. So
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can't find motivated sellers if they're not motivated.
absolutely.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty hands off with that. I mean, the guys run a lot of it, and they just throw the problems at me. But I'm impressed, and we kind of just threw everything that would have like helped me my first year in a bucket. And we're like, how can we give this all to somebody cheap? And it's like, fucking the price tag on that shit if you were to buy it all is crazy. Yeah, I like your $100 bill, dude. Look your head for a minute. I want to say Monopoly guy. What's the? It's fantastic. I feel like I'm running out of room.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, I definitely I appreciate it's my first year I went so long without a deal because I was trying to keep 100% of a grade.
Oh,
And
yeah. It's like
that's the mindset,
It's like better 50 cents today rather than $1 that will never materialize.
Yes.
You just make the volume. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people unfortunately go broke trying to get rich. It's just like that greed thing don't really work too well. So my understanding is, and for everybody tuning in now here, we got AJ Jefferson. You got a bunch of questions, right? You want to bounce some shit off me, try to stump me?
I do have a couple. I come across all kinds of stuff, and you're not going to get this one. This one is in Irvington. So all right.
Why am I not going to get it?
It's impossible. There's nothing that can be done with it, and you don't know how much stuff I turned down in the past. I wish I would have been, associated with you guys then.
All right. Well, I mean, number one, everybody here does all the difficult shit. All I handle is the impossible. So, speaking my language, what do we got? And Irvington is enough. Let's keep the address to yourself for now, so nobody on the live tries to snake your deal, which unfortunately, honestly, probably will happen to somebody sooner or later if they slip. So. Absolutely. So talk to me about it. What's asking worth and the rest of the stuff that I need to know?
Well, check it out. So in 2013, I want to say about that, there was a house on it, and I guess it was a Bank of America loan, and apparently the house burned down.
Okay.
Now, the seller, she's not completely forthcoming, but I imagine she got some some fire damage, some money from the insurance, but there's been no taxes paid since then. So in Irvington,
when is she not forthcoming?
She just wants to sell it. She's in Brooklyn. She tells me, "Oh, the property price is over there." I mean, she's a little off her rocker, but they're gonna lose it because it's in a foreclosure. That they're gonna lose it soon.
So what's the debt load on it? What do they owe?
It's just so I don't know if the Bank of America is paid off or not, but I do know there's almost $45,000 in property taxes.
I mean, did you ask her what she owes on
it? She doesn't even know. She doesn't know. When it burned down, she left and she said she hasn't been back. And
So can we do a little bit of role play right now?
Sure.
So you be her.
Okay.
Since you have the facts, and I'll be AJ. So what's your name for this? I hope it's something like you.
Just call her Missy.
Missy. All right, Missy, how's it going? I'm calling you about this house in Irvington. Right? Is this a good time to talk? Can we talk now or can we talk later?
Well, what are you offering for it? Because, I keep getting these calls. If you guys aren't, you guys aren't willing to pay what I want, then I'm not interested.
Okay, what do you want?
Well, the prices over here in Brooklyn, they're going for $500,000 even for small parcels of land. So I mean, what can you guys do?
Okay, that's Brooklyn. This is Irvington, New Jersey, right? That's
Yes,
like,
yes, it is. Yeah, yeah.
okay. So it's not exactly blowing up yet. As far as I know, you don't have like Peter Luger's over there. It's still kind of the hood, and it is my goal to give you what you want, Missy. So I can't do that if I don't know what you're asking. But chances are, I can make your dreams come true. I understand you're getting a lot of calls, and I understand that you're also getting a lot of bogus offers or things that you're not happy with. I don't want to even make an offer till you tell me what you'd be happy with, and I'll tell you if that's feasible. And if it is, I'll be happy to give it to you. So, pretty please with sugar on top. What would you like for the property, Missy?
Well, it's only land because the house burned down, right?
Fantastic. Okay, and you know that you're supposed to buy land, right? Because God ain't making any more of it. So I'm thinking I could probably put another house there, or have one of my people do it, and just turn it over to them. So the house is burned down, and it's land, right? And you know, I, there's three questions, Missy, that I'm going to have to ask you. And the first one is going to be, what do you want for the house? The second one is going to be, what do you think it's worth? I may ask you what you're basing it off of. And the last one is going to be, what do you owe on the house? And the reason why I'm asking you that is not because I can't look it up. It's because I want to develop a relationship with you. And in order to do that, we need to be honest with each other. So I will fact check everything. But first, I want to hear it from you. Now, if you didn't know, we'll talk about it later. But I could find out with you. So we gotta talk turkey. We gotta talk some numbers. My goal is to give you what it is you want. I can't give you what you want if you don't tell me what that is. I'm not inside your head.
Well, I don't know how much the bank owe. I don't know if we still owe the bank. I'm just not up on it. I haven't been over there in over 7 years, 8 years. And I think that, I don't know, the bank could have had a couple 100,000 owed on it. I just don't know. But I would like 300. So that would take care of all the property taxes and take care of any mortgage if it's there. I just don't know. You
Okay,
might help.
so it's in foreclosure. It's currently affecting your credit, right? When you did know, what was it?
Well, back then, the properties were going for, like 150,000, but everything is going up. I see the prices here in Brooklyn, how high everything is. And a friend of mine just sold some land and got a lot of money. So yeah, I want to do something like that.
Okay, so I mean, if somebody's going to take out a loan to buy this particular property or piece of land, they can only pay or borrow what it appraises for, right? Now, I mean, I want to sell it for $200 million, but that's not going to happen either. I have to sell it for what it appraises for or less. Otherwise, nobody'd ever be able to get the money. Now, I mean, I could overcharge a sucker with cash, but I wouldn't really feel good about that, And I don't know, I kind of take pride in my work and my business. So if you really truly don't know these numbers, but you're forthcoming with me and you could tell me the last known numbers and we develop a little bit of a relationship here, I could find out what the real numbers are for you if you'd allow me to do that, Missy. By the way, you have a beautiful name, Missy. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Well, there was somebody trying to help me in 2020, but I said no because they wouldn't give me what I wanted. They in 2020 we agreed to 55,000, and then when they came back, they said it wouldn't cover the closing and the property taxes. So I said, if I'm not getting anything or almost nothing, then I said forget it. That was a real estate agent and like an investor, I guess, or something like you.
Oh, God, I hate real estate agents. Don't call me one of those. All right.
So
So 55,000, and that didn't paid off the loan, but it didn't cover the property taxes, and it didn't cover what the closing costs.
it would have, I guess it would have just paid taxes and only been 1 or 2 or 3 thousand for me. So I said, forget it. I'll just let it sit there. And that's what she
Okay.
keeps saying. I'll just let it sit there.
So you understand that every month you don't make the mortgage payment, it's cumulative, right? It just adds up. So what were the payments monthly when you were making them?
Well, back in 2013 when it burnt down, I stopped making payments, and I haven't heard much from the mortgage, so I just don't know. You know,
Okay, but I mean, what do you remember what they were? Were they 1,000 a month, 2,000, 1,500, 500? I
I
mean,
I don't remember. I don't remember.
okay, so I'll tell you what. If you could tell me exactly what it is you'd like me to pay you, Missy, for this property, I've already been there. I'm in Jersey. I could take a ride by. I could send you a purchase and sales agreement for that amount, right? And I would also send you what's called an authorization to release. And that will allow me to actually find out what you owe. Because what that does is it gives me written permission to speak to the bank and the insurance company and everybody else on your behalf. Now, this is going to take a little bit of work on my part, but I don't want to do the work if it's in vain. So if you want to find out the truth, which it seems like you may not know, I'd be happy to help you with that. And then at least we'll see what's going on and what the angle is. But I also need you to understand too, Missy, that if you owe more on this vacant piece of land than it's worth, it may very well be a short sale. And then we have two choices. We could let it go to foreclosure, and I can't make the situation any worse than it already is. And that'll wind up on your credit. Even if it does, I can get it off later for you. Or we could do what I'm thinking is probably going to be a short sale if it didn't cover the debt load in 2020. And, most of the time the bank is going to say the seller walks away with nothing, but your credit report will read all debts paid or all debts paid settled for less, and it'll immediately start rebounding. But I can't do that unless you and I are on the same team and we work together. And you get this far along in the foreclosure process, a lot of times it's going to be easier for an independent third party like myself to find out the payoff rather than you, because I'm gonna try to say this as nicely as possible, but it sounds like you haven't made the payments on this property in a number of years. So you think the bank likes you, Missy?
Probably not.
No. So I'm gonna reach out as an independent third party. If you have a mortgage statement, no matter how old it is, that can always make my life easier. And if not, I'm gonna have to go down that wormhole, order title, figure out who had the loan last. I can get a payoff, but if it didn't cover the debt a few years ago, the market's good here, but it ain't that good. And every month's worth of payments is going to be added on top of that loan. Now, if I short it, and I'm gonna give you some shotgun math on burnout properties, because this is not the only one I'm currently working on. I have another one right now that I think we just sold. What the banks will typically accept on those properties, right, is going to be cost of the land minus the price it's going to cost to cart off the burned out house if it's not fixable. So, we're talking dumpsters and demo. Let's say the piece of land is worth $100,000 and it's going to cost me 50 to dispose of the house. The bank should accept around 50, maybe a little bit less. We got to find out who the bank is. And we actually have a matrix here in the office so we can kind of figure it out 6 months before they accept it or 8 months before they accept it. And like I said, if you want to know, that's great. And if you don't, and you're cool with just letting it go, I can't make the situation any worse than it already is. But if you and I work together, I can't promise it's going to work either, Missy, but we got a fighting chance. And honestly, you don't sound like a quitter to me.
Yeah, Chuck, that's great. I like that. I'm definitely gonna call and hit her with that tomorrow. She likes to get called in the morning, so yeah.
And
And
it's recorded and it's all these platforms, so you can watch it over and over, bro.
no, I watch. You wouldn't even believe, but I watch your stuff a lot.
I know you're like my number one fan, bro.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's sky's the limit. People just, I know it's gonna catch on, but I'm just hoping I'm so far ahead by the time it does. But because so this is what I want to ask you. You can short sell if there's no house. That was one of the things that was stumping me.
Yeah, you can. So the loan is secured by the property and the house on it, right? Which is going to be, there's a deed there's a piece of real estate with a lot and block, there's a house on it, there's everything else, and let's say that was all cumulatively worth 500,000, and it was taken out in 2005, and you got this, baby. You got this, baby. Sorry, 5-minute break. Burping over here. All right, so 2005, it's clearly going to be worth less now, right? But let's say if you look at an insurance policy, like for this particular property, it'll give you the replacement cost for the house. Maybe it's like $350, and then the price of the land, which would be $150. Now, if the house is totaled and there's nothing but a bunch of burnt out boards and other shit, and it's got to be carted off, and another house has to be built, usually they're going to just accept the price of the land minus what it's going to cost to have that shit carted off. Okay. And I was going to make another very good point here, but then the baby started burping on me. I mean, that's typically what I can get accepted for burnt out houses. Winds up being, it's the cost of whatever the land is minus the cost of carting off the burnt out house. And if you could prove that there's some other horrific shit there, like asbestos, which if it's an older house, it's probably got it, it's going to get a lot cheaper, dude. And I mean, again, one of the principles on this thing, like with your Missy situation, she wants like $1 million for, something that's worth 50 grand. Still, it's one of my principles. I'm not going to work with people who don't want to work with me, Mitzi. And right now, I'm just curious to find out if this is even doable. So, if you're willing to cooperate, then let's talk, and we can either meet. I'd prefer you come meet me face to face, because real estate's it's a pretty high ticket item. It's face to face, belly to belly shit, and I could see you here. We could do a StreamYard call, but I'm going to be asking you for some very personal information, Mitzi, and it's like a key that unlocks your loan at the bank so they can talk to me on your behalf. And I'm gonna need you to sign some stuff. I'm gonna ask you for a copy of your ID. And I mean, it's just so I know you're who you say you are. I've been taken advantage of before. People try to sell me houses they don't own. And I mean, I'll give you a copy of mine too. I have no problem with it. And I'm also going to need your social security number, because it's a very guarded number. And when the bank sees that you've willingly given me written authorization to speak on your behalf, even though I am not a real estate agent, the bank will regard me as your agent. And I can then order a payoff. We'll find out what you actually really truly do owe. And then together we can come to a decision on what it is that you would like to do. And at that point, if you don't want to fight anymore, and this is just too painful and you want to let it go because you may not make any money, or it's like a 50-50 shot or 80-20, I'll be able to gauge that for you. I won't blame you. If you just want to walk away, I won't blame you at all. Now, you said that there's property taxes on this thing as well, right?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of property taxes getting negotiated with any city, any town, anywhere, or no?
I have not. And, you see all these tax lien courses everywhere where, you can't lose. Well, they are full of shit, right? And I'm like a personal friend to like Ted Thomas, who's the guy who invented this shit. I have his cell phone, right? Guy's been working on me as a public speaker. And, yeah. So I've seen a number of houses where they have 2 or 3 years worth of tax liens, and they're even owned by the same person. And I've tried to buy them from that person so I could foreclose on the house and foreclose off the debt, till I realized in New Jersey that's not legal, or so I've been told by every lawyer that I've ever asked. But in other states it is, where you can go approach the people and buy the tax liens, cut the mortgage off, right, and foreclose the mortgage off. So I've even contemplated doing this on one of my own personal residences that I owe like $500,000 on. And the play would be, you're going to call the mortgage company after you've made payments on time for 2 or 3 years, and you're going to ask them to de-escrow the taxes and insurance, because you're now financially responsible and you can pay them by yourself. And then if you don't pay them for a year, you can buy them provided the bank doesn't pay them, right? So you're going to go to a tax lien auction. It's a reverse auction. And you ever been to one?
Adorable, man. No, I haven't been to one. No.
Okay, so you've been to a foreclosure auction?
No, no. Everything was closed down when I got in the game, you know?
All right, so
No.
foreclosure auction, they're going to go 100,000, or here go 105, 110. Tax lien auction, they're going to go. AJ Jefferson didn't pay his $10,000 worth of property taxes for the year, right?
Right.
So we're going to start the bidding at 20%. Who's going to want a 20% return on 10,000, 19, 18, whatever, right? And it keeps going down, and it will go all the way down to zero with no interest. And then these people will actually bid with negative interest, -1, -2, -3, right? Because the play is they want to foreclose the mortgage off. It's a way to cut the mortgage off, right? Now, when you go to one of these tax lien auctions, and I've been to more than a few, okay, there's going to be 200 properties in the town of Irvington that are going to tax foreclosure. And before the auction starts, what's going to happen is a representative from Bank of America is going to walk in, a representative from Wells Fargo is going to walk in, every bank and financial institution that you can imagine. And typically, in the event that those tax liens are on a property where more than $100,000 is owed on the mortgage, they don't want to lose their first lien position to a tax sale. So it's insane. They will come in with a check for like $9 million, hand it to the auctioneer, and pay off the taxes that are going to be sold that day, minutes before the sale, on like every property in that town. And this happens everywhere. It's pretty nuts to watch. So you've done research on like 200 properties, and when the bidding starts 5 minutes before, more than half your research you just throw out.
It's only their properties, or you are only their properties under their portfolio, right?
Yeah. So like Bank of America will come in and they will pay off every mortgage over $100,000. They don't want to lose their first lien position, so they'll pay off literally every Bank of America mortgage that people aren't making mortgage payments on, because those properties have taxes and insurance escrowed at every monthly payment, but property taxes are due quarterly, right? But they don't want them to go to sale, because if they go to sale and that was $1 million property with $10,000 worth of taxes, and I could buy it 2 years in a row for 20 grand, I could foreclose off that $1 million mortgage and on that property for $20,000. And as you could imagine, there is a fair amount of strategy here, and it pays not to be connected and work in teams.
No, yeah, no, I understand. It's a super lean status, and so do they? They must have some mortgages that slip through the cracks, or they don't bid on their smaller mortgages, or you don't.
So yeah, a lot of times the smaller mortgages, those are the ones that they're going to write off. Okay. What are you doing, pooping? And you got any of these yet?
No, man, no.
You got to get on that, bro.
No, don't wish that on me. Not yet, man.
Not yet. So yeah, smaller ones, sometimes they let go. On rare occasion, they'll let a bigger one go. Smaller mortgage companies, private mortgage companies, a lot of times they won't have the capital to do it. And that's when they start losing and going out of business, when more and more happen, like 2008. It gets crazy. But if the mortgage is over 200 grand, rarely, if ever, have I seen the bank not pay the taxes.
That's a nice gem. So you're saying under 100, there's a chance that
there's a really good chance, a really good chance.
That's why I listen to everything you say, all those little nuggets, because in my marketing, we're gonna look in that sector now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance with the bigger ones too, but it's not as good as a chance.
You know, I really appreciate. Chuck, I can hit you with 100 questions. I want to keep, if you don't mind.
Let's keep
speaking
going.
on mortgages, well, I can go mortgages or fire damage. Which question you want?
Well, we're already working fire damage and mortgage. You tell me. We get them both.
Okay, so we might as well stay on the fire damage real quick. So there's one in Brunswick that you guys are. So I'm gonna make a long story. She's just calling to check in with me. So there's to make a very long story short, I had a fire damage under contract, or I have it under contract in Brunswick. To make a long story short, she signed all your paperwork. I had it on. It's a good deal. When I came in, I met Linton in your office there. He prepared all the documents, everything you guys do. It was
Mhm.
beautiful. I'm on the way. She said she's gonna sign it. I talked to her father 3 times. Literally, she got to the house early. I'm leaving from you guys' office. It's like an hour drive. And she's sitting in front of the house, but she wasn't supposed to be there. And so somebody came up, a friend of the family, and
Mhm.
said, "Oh, I'll do this and give her so much more and all this other stuff." So she wouldn't sign. So now the father wanted to back out, but they signed your original paperwork. So it's a headache
So what,
because
what do you have signed?
I have just the I have the purchase and sale agreement. I have she had it's a long story. The mom's in a nursing home, so she has
So
power of attorney. So I got a copy of that.
you
Took a
got a
copy.
copy of the power of attorney, not an original, right?
I know I took a picture, photo.
Okay, that's still something.
Yeah, and I took her ID. And what else I get? Letter authorization. We ran title, and I got something else. I can't think. I know there's one more thing I got, but so I had all that done, and it really makes me so mad that this guy wants to interfere like that. But he's not. So here's the big one. So remember, I was calling you asking. I wanted to give you an update. I was telling you about the. I was asking for a public adjuster because I was going to help her. I wasn't going to charge her anything. I was going to help her get the way they're dealing with her. They're not going to give her. She's not going to get that much money. Not what she could have got, So that's why I was going to deal with a public adjuster. But she, oh man. So I think that is going to let the house sit there, and it has some foreclosures, like 2 foreclosures on it.
So let's
So
take a step back. You got a purchase and sales agreement.
I do.
You got the title clouded.
Yeah, but it's a mess with that because it's only like 2 that you can record, I guess. So we're up against the second one now.
What, the notice of settlement?
Yeah, somebody said that. I think an attorney said that.
Tell that attorney has to go fuck yourself.
Okay, all right.
You have a purchase and sales agreement with original signatures, but it's signed with a power of attorney. If we were to record the purchase and sales agreement, we would have to record it with an original power of attorney, so that's going to be rough too. But you should be able to throw a notice of settlement on title every 45 days for the life of the contract. And I know if it was a purchase and sales agreement, it's good for the life of the purchase and sales agreement and even beyond. So it's kind of like a landmine that just sits there. Matter of fact, even if it's a notice of settlement, even if it's expired, a lot of times title companies and lawyers are going to want it addressed. Plus, I would just keep following up with these people forever.
Okay, and Linton said maybe if I staple my purchase and sales agreement to my NOS, maybe that would, just like you said, for the attorneys, or a title company might want it cleared first.
Yeah, give it a shot. The worst thing they could do is not take it, because there's no original power of attorney. But mail it in. They might take it. If they take it, I mean, you now have you've now actually created the absolute real estate version of a cock block, and like, you ain't gonna be able to sell that without you. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is like, these sellers are like fucking women. You do not have the right to change your mind. And when you put something in writing and change your mind, you are fucking subhuman. You don't even register, and you must be destroyed. And it's just, don't fuck with me. Don't agree to something in writing and then change your mind later.
For a higher price, yeah. And so
for anything.
Yeah, it's here's another one. There's so much with these deals.
And let's go back on the fire thing. What I'm thinking happened with your girl in Irvington, right, especially if there's a mortgage, whenever a house burns down, because I've had a couple burn down on me, if there's a mortgage in place on it, they will cut you a check for like half of the repairs, and it has to be endorsed by the mortgage company as well, right?
Okay.
And then the insurance company is going to want to come out and see that the repairs are done. And then they're going to give you the other half that needs to be endorsed by the mortgage company, typically. But what most people will do, like in this situation with her, she probably got a check for 50 grand or 100 grand, just ran, did no repairs, and she ain't getting the other half. So I see that a lot. And then they feel like they did something wrong or illegal, where they just chose not to make the repairs and go to foreclosure. That's all they did. Banks will tell you it's fucking illegal, but there's no debtor's prison. You can not pay your mortgage and get foreclosed on. It's maybe not the best move, but it's the move they chose. So,
for sure. And I even presented that with the father and her. I said, look, the 3 options. We can help you rehab this, and that's how you'll get the most money, and we can sell it and split some profits. Or I can just help you get the most money from the fire damage, and then we can still make an offer and buy this property. or we can just make a quick cash offer, and that's what they wanted to do, because she's really overwhelmed. She was overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
so as soon as I put the NOS, put the notice of settlement in,
Mhm.
the damn nursing home, and that's why I was moving fast. Because the nursing home called and said, "Can I speak to the realtor? Can I put my number in all my contracts? Can I speak to the realtor involved? Who should I? Because if you guys are selling this, I need to know because they want the money. They want all the money. They want to drop a lien on it. So tell me about that. And if my NOS, my notice of settlement is before, because their lien is not there yet. If it's before Medicaid, will I be in front of Medicaid or Medicaid can supersede me? Yeah. See, I got the questions for you.
No. This is good, and I've been down this road.
I believe
Right,
it.
a bunch of different things. So, is this the same problem probably in Irvington or a different one?
That's in Brunswick. This is still back in Brunswick, the fire damage.
This is Brunswick. So this is fire damage, and it's owned by somebody who's in a nursing home
Yes.
that the daughter has a power of attorney for.
Yes.
Right. And I'm going to imagine there's a tremendous amount of equity in this property.
We got it for 130, and I want to say ARV is at least double that. At least it's probably
What is it right now as is?
What can I tell you? It's bad. The fire's pretty bad. It started in the basement and came up on the front.
So what's the debt load? That's what I really need to know.
Honestly, I don't remember. I know that I know it's being foreclosed. It's a more okay. I want to say it's around a 30,000 mortgage, and I want to say outstanding taxes is around 15 or 20, something like that. So less than 60 owed.
Okay. All right. So this owner is in the nursing home.
Yes.
And they're applying for Medicaid.
She was there on an emergency basis. So, either get her out or they were working on getting that done, but she hadn't got it done yet.
Okay.
The father told her to get out her name, but she hadn't listened. It's too late now.
Not too late.
That's what I was trying to do too. Linton told me, look, she signed it. He had a whole deed and everything, but I don't know.
So hear me out, right?
Yeah.
What day did you meet her? What's the year?
It was in May, bro. She signed it back in May.
And when did the mom go into the nursing home?
Oh man, I don't know. I want to say 6 months before that, maybe.
All right. I need to be in the same room with all these people.
They just stopped cooperating. When the other guy came, he must have known the family. He's saying, "Oh, I don't know what numbers he was saying in his head, but they just shut everything down." Now,
right.
I don't know what he said.
50 cents today, rather than $1 that will never materialize. Now, I need you to look at me, right? And I need you to understand, AJ, as you're looking at me, that I have never done this, okay? Not one fucking time. We cool?
Okay.
All right. Now, it's a good thing that we work in teams, but we're not connected. And it's a good thing that I met this lady way back in 2017 or 19 or something like that, right? Times were tough. And I gave her a mortgage for $300,000. And now there's no equity. So when Medicaid forces the sale, I'd have to short my mortgage, wouldn't I? Right? But whatever that house sold for, everything after their debt load would come to me tax-free. And I would be able to then take care of them better than they could ever take care of themselves from a sale, couldn't I? And as long as that was on title with that date when I met her way back in 2017 or 19 or whatever, before the Medicaid lien, guess who wins? Everybody but Medicaid. Okay. Again, I've never done that again. This is all hypothetical.
Absolutely. Yeah, I heard you once. Yeah, you're a genius, Chuck. And you have so much creative stuff. I mean, it's nuts. But yeah, absolutely.
But and this is something that needs to be delivered eyeball to eyeball, face to face. And I'll remind them about when I met her way back when. If they don't like you anymore, they might like somebody else in the program, or they might like me. And teamwork makes the dream work, bro.
Sure thing.
So
sure thing.
If you want to even give this number to Mike and see if Mike or I can get him on the phone, like we can just kill that. And if it works, great. And if not, I'll just hand it off to somebody else in the program. Because eventually they're going to like somebody. Maybe we got a cute chick. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say no to them. It's been a problem for me. So what's the next
Absolutely.
question, bro?
Oh man, I'll keep going. So let's stay on mortgages then. So I won't say the address, but there's one. You heard of MERS, of course. You heard of MERS, right? So there's a mortgage from 2007, but the company's gone. Every servicer that ever had it is gone. Um, they, I can't get a payoff, and I need one to close the deal. So, what do you? How have you dealt with? Of course, you dealt with it, but yeah, talk to me.
So, I mean, this is usually what I tag in my Caribbean counterpart, and he just went home to spend some time with his kids, but
Yeah,
he just really winds up, it's like hunting down this servicer, this servicer, this servicer. Eventually, somebody's got to have it, right? Is it in foreclosure currently?
yes.
It's an active foreclosure. It's not stagnant.
No, that loan is not in foreclosure. That's over 10, like 2007. Like, look where we're at now. Nobody, they went in foreclosure and then they dismissed it in like 2010 ish, and nobody ever did anything. It's just now it's still sitting there though.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a
This
hefty,
sounds, this sounds really interesting.
yeah,
Uh, you're taking notes. Let's talk to Mike about this one tomorrow as well. Like this is really good stuff because this is now where I get to employ my private investigator, and something tells me we're going to come up with an answer.
okay.
I got a bounty hunter too, and
Crazy.
it's really just finding out who owns it. There's also some other really weird law in the book, right? And I know this is I don't know about mortgages, but I know this is for like other loans in general. Where I think
Statue.
if you haven't made statute, if you haven't made an attempt to collect in like 6 or 7 years or some crazy shit,
6 years in Jersey.
yeah. Now, do you know if that's the same with mortgages?
I That's up in the air. I asked what the hell is his name? Mike, I can't think of what the hell is his name. You know what I'm talking about. The attorney, real estate attorney.
Mike, I don't know.
Jesus. I can't, his name just slipped my mind, but yeah, I asked him about it, and he said he had a whole lot to say. He's so long-winded, and he really wants to go to court with it, litigate, and that's going to be very expensive.
Wait, what,
So,
what county is this?
this is in Jersey City.
Okay, and wow, really?
Yeah.
I just so happened to have the number of a judge in Jersey City that I encountered at the courthouse who saw what I was doing. He told me he was incredibly impressed with what I was doing and I should keep doing it. We've talked a few times since then. I just got to remember his name. If he's still a judge, that might be a good guy to ask because he's the fucking decision maker.
No doubt.
So let's make a note on that one. We can maybe do some reaching out tomorrow. And what are you doing, baby? Jesus.
Yeah, let me get that. Oh man.
Okay, I got someone earlier. Yeah. I wasn't feeling so good, so baby's with me this week. But yeah, there's going to be a way to figure this out. And like, you got to always look at where you're asking the question. So, I mean, if you're asking the question of a litigator, you're going to want to litigate. I got this tumor, right? Like in my wrist. It's really gross. It's been there since I was like a teenager. Okay, let's see if I can figure out how to do it. It's got like a pulse in it. Show you, whatever. I'll show you in person. I fucking know if I could even angle myself like that, right? And I went to all these orthopedic surgeons, and every one of them wanted to operate. And they all told me there's like a 50-50 chance that your hand's going to be like a hook after you're not going to be able to use it. And then I met this kid's bar mitzvah, friends with his dad. There's an orthopedic surgeon there. He says, talk to my friend, the orthopedic surgeon. And this guy tells me, listen, knifers only get paid to knife. If they don't operate, it doesn't pay for the Mercedes or their mistress. If I were you, I'd just deal with the fucking pain. And now this is an actual guy that does that surgery telling me to do that. So we got to find the decision maker here. I'm thinking judges and bankers are going to be who to ask for and ask the answer, not litigators, because litigators want to litigate and all that stuff.
Makes perfect sense.
What's the next question? I mean, we may not come up with answers, but now we have action plans on all these. Like, we should definitely call Mike tomorrow and kill some of this shit.
Yeah, because I mean, some of the stuff is just sitting there. Absolutely. And so I wanted to ask about, sheriff cells. So so many people, listen, Jersey in foreclosure, we like to hammer foreclosure, and they put their head in the sand. And so it's not until they're into their sheriff, their adjournments. Matter of fact, some people don't. Now they'll talk to me. They're on their second adjournment, or the second adjournment's coming up. Is there anything we can do after they had lost their two adjournments besides bankruptcy?
Yeah,
there's or they already did bankruptcy.
So there's a couple things you can do when you're out of adjournments, right? And I figured one of these out on one of my first deals. There's a very little known thing you could do called an emergent motion.
Okay.
Did one of my guys talk to you about that?
No, I've heard of it,
Okay, so it's going to work maybe 75% of the time, 80, right? Where you and the seller are going to go before the judge with the purchase and sales agreement and proof of funds, and you can go, look, Your Honor, everything's moving slow, COVID, banks, whatever. Here's the proof of funds. Here's the purchase and sales agreement. We really want to get this done. We know we don't want to be foreclosed on. Seller's crying. You're there. Judge picks up his gavel and goes, emergent motion, 2 more weeks or 4 more weeks or whatever they grant you at that point in time. Get it closed, son. One of these days, that judge is going to want his gavel back. You can play with it till then. Good job.
Got some strong hands.
Yeah.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Bankruptcy is also not a bad option. And typically what I'm going to do there, right, is I'll not only look at the property itself, but I'll step back and look at their whole financial situation. What else do you owe, right? So how much do you owe on the house? You owe $300,000 on the house. Maybe it's a short sale. Maybe it's not. Who cares, right? And I have relationships with a lot of bankruptcy lawyers who will refer me deals because they know we do the right thing too, right? And then you got credit card debt. And if you have availability on your credit cards, you can also go buy everything you wanted, provided you make all the payments on time for the next 3 months. Because on the 4th month after you make that payment, they don't look back any further, right? So let's say you got $300,000 in credit card debt, and I don't know, or $300,000 in mortgage debt, $20,000 or $50,000 in credit card debt. God only knows whatever kind of debt you have. Everything but student loans. Now, let me ask you this question, AJ. If you could buy, let's think like business people. If you could buy that debt, that $500,000 worth of debt or whatever you owe, for $2,500, and it was just magically gone, would you do that?
In a heartbeat, in New York minute.
And bankruptcy nowadays is not what it used to be. I filed one years ago for $1.8 million. You could look it up. It's public record. Just Google it, right? And once you come out of bankruptcy, which typically should only take 3 months, you can't file bankruptcy again for like 7 or 8 years or some shit. It's public knowledge too. You can just Google it. And you used to be like, oh, we're never going to have a house again. We're never going to have credit cards again. It ain't like that anymore. This is not your father's bankruptcy. Second I got out of bankruptcy, especially one that big, the first thing I got in the mail was a pre-approval letter for like a $90,000 Mercedes, right? Sign and drive. Capital One just throws credit cards at you. I think they gave me one for $16,000 to start. It's crazy, right? And that's because you can't pull that move where you buy the debt for $2,500 for another 7 years. So now they can garnish your wages. Now they can do all that horrible stuff after the bankruptcy. But that shouldn't happen again because we just bought all your debt. Don't make the same fucking mistake. You don't get third chances. You get a second one. Fortunately, you found me. Matter of fact, if you get out of the house, I'll pay for your bankruptcy.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, no, that was another shift that I didn't say early on when I shifted my mindset and really trying to help these people. And that is definitely how I approach it. Like, how can I offer value? How can I really, help them out? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like when I was doing this my first year, and I mean, it's rough. Like even when you do close deals, like not getting a paycheck every Friday, it can get like depressing. Even if you're looking at your bank account and there's like $100,000 in it, it's still like I haven't gotten paid in 6 months. It's crazy. And I can remember driving to these houses going, I'm going to help these people out. I'm going to buy the house. I'm going to help these people out. For fucking 45 minutes. And do you know what happened when I got there?
Came true.
yeah, it's like willed it into existence.
in
And
existence. Yeah,
yeah, it's the solution is a lot of times, or the problem a lot of times is just bigger than the house. It's lack of money is not a problem. It's a symptom of a much bigger problem. So I mean, I've checked people into rehab. I've bought people cars. I've helped people move across the country, out of the country, all this shit just to buy the house. Where it's like, all right, so I've got to drop 10 G's on this car for you, but I'm not giving it to you till everything's packed. Or pay for moving trucks, pay for everything else, pay for a security deposit, pay for the first 3 months rent till they get back on their feet. Step one, get the fuck out. And now we got a vacant house and somebody's cooperation. We're moving forward.
absolutely, absolutely. I had I'll tell you about two losses I took. I had one in Pleasantville. Long story short, I think it was the realtor that I brought over there. He didn't get his earnest money in fast enough, and I went with somebody else. And somebody went behind me, and this I was real early on. I was only like a 90-day contract, and so they got it from me, and they started closing, and we kept calling the title company that was closing it, Surety down in Camden, and they just wouldn't stop. So it was a $25,000 deal too. Is there any way to is a HUD a public document? Is there any way to see? I don't really want to waste my time, but I am curious of who did that. I don't know.
A HUD statement?
Yeah, that's not like a public document, right?
As far as I know, it's not. I've never looked for one and I've never found it.
Okay.
I'm sure I can get you an answer on that one. Thanks for a mess over here. What else you got?
So we had the one in where was that? That's in Blackwood. That was the probate.
Was that the one with the sisters that were here?
Yeah, the sisters that came up. So they were working with us fine, and we were moving forward with the probate. So the surrogate clerk, asked for, all the wanted to know there was an older brother or the father's brother. She wanted to talk to them and make sure she didn't object to us being the administrator. There was no will; they were intestate. So when the brother got involved, he apparently brought some type of realtor and a real estate attorney. And she wrote me an email like, "Look, we're gonna go with a conventional sale." So that's a mess. And not only we have a purchase, they sold us the house. They signed a deed and everything. They signed all 12 documents. So in the office,
they don't need anybody else to sign. That was them, right?
Yeah, well, but it was, so remember, it's their father's house, and there's no probate. So are they the owners? They're not the owners, but are they the heirs? Yeah.
I think the will has to be probated, and everything needs to be settled in order for those signatures to be valid. But make a note on that one. We'll do a little bit of research tomorrow as well. And if that's the case, once that's done, thanks for pre-signing everything for me. Mail that fucking deed in. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I haven't said a lot. I told them, hey, let's continue to work together. I just put some stuff in writing but I haven't said a whole lot, because if they go through with it, I already know where we stand. I don't want them to try to go a different direction. But I mean, look, I don't pull my hair out. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But we definitely have rights, and we definitely have notarized agreements and all that. So
yeah, no, it's state. They'll kill you on this, especially you're dealing with desperate people. I did meet those two sellers, and they were a unique couple to begin with. I don't know if they even wanted to talk to each other or what the fuck was going on.
No, they don't talk. They went outside. I had to keep them apart. It's nuts. It's nuts. Whoa. It's great.
Yeah, on a personal note, I remember I walked out of my office. I saw you with these two girls. I was like, wow. I thought AJ would have had much better taste in women.
Well,
and then I was like, oh shit, this is the deal. All right, never mind. I thought those were like your girlfriends or some shit. Like,
oh man,
Lisa's got two.
Oh man, I'm gonna leave it all. I can't touch it. I'm not gonna touch it. But yeah, just professionally, I was definitely, I did a lot to help him. I was down there. So, matter of fact, I met one sister in Philly. Oh man, but it is what it is. We're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, and you just it's weird because everybody tells you to analyze, do the numbers and everything else, and look, you're gonna get hurt a little bit more in terms of wasting your time, or maybe like emotionally if you lead with your heart, but you'll also meet some pretty great people, and you'll probably make a little bit more than most people. I mean, I got a bunch of people. There's one guy, Ruel, on here. He does like rehabs. We flipped one house. I think his end was like 54,000 or something insane. He's like, wow, I made more on that one with a paper shuffle and asking the right questions. So I mean, it's out there for the taking. You got to keep getting amongst it, and you're doing it. And now you don't drive, right?
No, I'm not. No.
All right. When you get stuck with one of these, when you die, when you're in a situation where they don't want to work with you anymore, hit up Mike, team me up, or see somebody else up, and let's keep going. And I can have somebody else struggling with a different deal push something in your direction too. It's kind of why I have this group where just kind of everybody's stronger together. Baby, what are you doing? You sing me a song? You have any questions, baby? Ow. I'm just gonna eat my face. Okay. What else we got?
Well, I got one more in Newark. This is so oh my God, this guy's kind of crazy. So long story short, his he was telling me it's a 3-family. I actually drove by there like 2 weekends ago. Man, that thing's a 2-family. And I looked it up, it's a 2-family. He's telling me it's a 3-family the whole time. I don't know if they got somebody in the attic. It doesn't matter. Listen to this, Chuck. He bought this over 2 years ago and never collected 1 day of rent from 3 different units. Never 1 day of rent. He bought in 2020 when COVID hit, and he lives like almost in PA, towards that way, towards Allentown somewhere. But he he's always at work. He works hard. He's a hardworking African guy, but he does not collect any rent. And so when I talk to him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go over there and knock on their door and then ask them if they're gonna." I'm like, "Yo, he's AJ did a phone conference with me and him, all 3 of us. He's like he's in Mars." But like, I had a doctor like this once. When they get it auto deducted from their checking account, they don't see it. They don't feel the same pain because they're not writing the check. They're not struggling for money. You know what I'm saying? So, so I don't know what you would. I don't know how you would. I've been talking to him now for man. I met him at a restaurant a few weeks ago too. Because he comes up here on the weekends, but he's in the hole. So, and I pointed out to him like, dude, you want so much money for this. Sell it with a realtor. No. He knows he can't sell it with a realtor because people are going to walk inside. He can't get access. He hasn't got any rent in 2 years. But
so he's not making payments either, I'm going to assume, right?
Yeah. He took over from the other people, and a member of the family in his house. They went back to I want to say Ghana, Kenya, and so but he hasn't collected any rent, and he's been paying it, and he refinanced. He refinanced, so he's actually current, and he's paying it out of his checking, you know.
And he's Kenyans. He's a Kenyan.
Yeah, he's from Kenya. Yeah.
First, no bullshit. First people I ever trained was a husband and wife Kenyan team, and they did pretty good. So I'm thinking too that might help a little bit, might grease the wheels. So I could reach out. If you make a note, just remind me. I'll hit them up in the morning. I haven't talked to them in a couple of years, but I know every time I reach out, they're always really happy to hear from me. And same country. I don't even know what language Kenyans speak. I guess it's Kenyan.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do have to say one thing. There is a reason why they kick our ass in the marathon every year. People fucking work, bro. Like,
no, he works.
Like they don't need to sleep. They just keep going. I mean, like I took them on, and they were telling me like how hardworking Kenyans were. I had no fucking idea. Like I felt lazy next to these guys. Just did not stop. It's impressive. So you may have difficult time breaking through. He's probably not even behind on payments, right? He's just busting his ass paying.
Yeah, he's like computer networks, and he makes plenty of money. So yeah, he's not hurting for money, but he's not doing the math. Because I was telling him, if I was trying to take $500 or $5,000 from you, you'd fight me to death. You would go to court. You'd do everything to stop me, but you're losing like that much every month. That's what they're taking from you. You're paying some people's rent. Like they're laughing. You're not going to have a conversation with them. He hasn't even filed eviction. Just nothing. Like I gave him. Me and AJ presented him with options. We presented him with project management. Like if you want us to really manage this for you, you know, like because you obviously can't handle it. Like you know, it's a how to approach. But yes, someone from his country he's going to talk to differently. Because when I did meet him at that restaurant, it was in a Kenyan restaurant. So that's what. Yes, he'll listen to them.
Yeah, so
Yes,
let's hope they're in the country and let's see what happens. And
absolutely.
I got another friend, but he moved to Nepal, but he was actually married to a Kenyan princess. My God, was she beautiful! So we may have some lines in here, and I hate that the world works this way, but it's just one more level of rapport where sometimes people are going to want to talk to you because they're black and you're black. Sometimes people are going to want to talk to me because I'm white, and it's like it's a level of rapport that neither one of us can change. It's just a fact of life. So why don't we call in the Kenyans?
Absolutely.
It's like calling in the cavalry.
Yeah, no, that's a good, yeah, because these are kind of the ones that's giving me problems. So
Matter of fact, I may have to send them this live later. See how they're doing.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, that'd be a good look. Um, absolutely, Chuck.
What else? What else? This guy's got to
Um,
eat at 8 o'clock. We got 10 more minutes, give or take.
absolutely, absolutely. Um,
By the way, this is fun, dude. We might have
would
to
you
do it again.
you ever been through a quiet title action?
I have, yeah. So Pennsylvania, I've been through a quiet title action, and Pennsylvania's got what's called a free and clear sale, where after it's like 2 or 3 years of taxes have been sold, uh, those people don't foreclose, but they have to get their money back with interest. So if you buy that cumulative tax lien at what's called a free and clear sale, you then file a suit to quiet title. It takes about 6 months, and then you get a deed that's free and clear. And I think I spent 150 grand in a day, and I walk with 14 houses. 14 houses in somebody's backyard, right? Because I'm dyslexic and I transposed the numbers on somebody's lot and block, and I thought it was a house, and they were selling it for $750, and I was like, "The fuck, man! It's a house for 700. How bad could it be?" And I accidentally bought some guy's backyard that he didn't pay taxes on. That was a separate lot, and he probably hates me because I donated it to like Habitat for Humanity. But yeah,
What?
but I remember it not being too difficult, right? And it was like just finding the right lawyer to do it. I don't know anybody that's gone through a suit to quiet title in New Jersey. You may have to do it after a sheriff's sale, but I'm not 100% sure because sheriff sales just look so damn competitive that typically just wind up staying away, man. It's like I go there. The only time I've ever gone to a sheriff sale is if I have the deed on something and the seller's absolute cooperation, right? And this is one of those last minute deals that you're talking about. Now, this is going to be really good for you, AJ. So I want you to pay attention, right? So you're talking about that extra extension,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Well, here we go. They didn't give you the extra extension. All right.
Okay.
It's going to foreclosure next Wednesday. So now we need a posse. I got me, I got you, I got AJ, I got Mike. We go to that sheriff's sale. That seller, once that property is sold, whether it be you because your deed is recorded or them because the deed is still in their name, has 10 days to redeem that property. And I was just in a room with tons and tons of millionaires and a sheriff's officer and a judge that just bid on it, and I know what they want to pay for it. And I did this by accident the first time, right? I went to a sheriff's sale like that. That's what my intention. The guy sitting next to me is bidding on a property. Wasn't even gonna sell or do this there. I had a yellow notepad. I drew a line. I drew another line. I drew a name, phone number, email. Right. This guy next to me bids on a property. It's like 200 grand. Goes up there with 20% down certified check. Right. Comes back, sits down next to me. I give him the yellow pad. I said, I'd like to sell you some other properties. Writes down his name, email, phone number. Right, AJ? Passes it to the next guy. It just goes all around the whole fucking courthouse. I left with every buyer's contact information.
Those are the best ones too, because they can buy without going in the house. They can buy off videos. They're the best ones by far.
Yeah. But now you know everybody that wants to buy that particular property if it did go to sale, right? So now you got the winning bidder and you got everybody else. Now all you got to do is come up with the money in 10 days and pay it off. If it's 100 grand, they paid 2.
people
Follow?
were paying over the mortgage during this whole crazy COVID. They
They
were
weren't?
paying. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not crazy. And I got lenders that'll fund it too. So we got to kind of know and work really quick in advance. But this works. And if the deed's still in the seller's name, but they sign one over to you and it hasn't been recorded yet, you can pay it off in their name, send it in with yours, recorded simultaneously, but prior to. You own the house. They owned it for 5 minutes. End game.
For sure. No, I talk to people who lost their house all the time, like calling them just too late. Some people don't care. Some people it was their relative or whatever, but it's in their name. I talk to them all the time. So that opportunity is definitely there. That's a good one. I do like that.
And I mean, again, just when these fall apart, don't hesitate, man. Throw them my way.
Absolutely.
And if I can't get them, hopefully we can plug somebody else in.
For
You're not
sure.
doing too bad tonight, baby. You're behaving pretty well.
Craig.
I know he's kind of thick compared to my other kids. Like barely put my hands around him. But he's not that big. He's only like in the 50th percentile. I went to the doctor today, but
Okay.
he's happy. He's just, oh my god, you don't kiss your dad like that. Do you want to sing AJ's song?
You're his toy, man. You're his favorite toy. That's crazy though. But yeah, for sure, Chuck, for sure. What else I got going on here? Let me see. What else could I use some help with here?
We probably got time for like one more, and then clearly he's getting hungry. He's trying to chew my cheek off through the pacifier.
Okay, so hey, sometimes, especially when they're not in this part of the state, I send them a DocuSign.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $10 earnest. I don't always get that to them. Is that an issue? Should I make more of an effort for that, or
do they sign and acknowledge it?
Not on the DocuSign. What I do is after everything, a few days later, I'll come back with I'll go down there. I'll send the notary to get your paperwork signed.
Yeah, I mean, any exchange just helps, and it's binding. I mean, right. I've literally taken a $10 bill, handed to them when it's in their hand, and I'll take a selfie with them, and that's like documentation, and they sign it. You can Cash App it to them nowadays. There you go. I just Cash Apped it to you, Venmo, whatever. But now I have a receipt that you've also received it, and I have the DocuSign thing. The only reason why I don't like DocuSign is like, let's say you go get a house and it's DocuSigned, and I even go a day or two later, but I have an original wet signature. My contract is recordable, yours is not, so I can technically rip that property out from underneath you.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't. If I'm gonna do something, it's gonna get DocuSign is just temporary.
Yeah, I got
you. People get in the spirit of working with you, and
yeah,
it's just better than nothing.
You're killing me here, baby. I didn't know my hair was that long.
Yeah, I'm out of question. You answered everything, man. You ran through everything just now.
Okay, well, I think we have some notes here, and I think we have a pretty good action plan. I definitely want you to jump on the phone with Mike tomorrow. Let's keep moving some of these along, AJ, because I think you got some viable deals here. And honestly, this was fun for me, dude. This was kind of like this was better than going out to eat. So thank you. I think we might have to do it again. What do you think?
For sure, absolutely. Anything. If I get a chance to pick your brain, I'm not turning that down.
No, let me know when you have more questions. And I really, hey baby, I kind of hope this helps some other people, baby. What do you think? Yeah, maybe. All right, AJ. I'm gonna log off.
No doubt.
It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere. Hey, do you have a Facebook?
Yeah, I sent it to what's his name in your office?
Josh.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Pleasure. Keep fucking killing it. I definitely want to hear from you tomorrow. If anybody else wants to do a live, ask some questions, hit us up. AJ, give yourself a plug, man, so people know where to find you, because I'm sure you're gonna make some friends from this.
Well, yeah, my name's Amir Jefferson. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, that's the easiest way. Otherwise, you can hit me up, omniinvestments@gmail. Just use that one's the I'm always on that one. So just hit me up. I'll work with you if you got something going on. If you're just starting off, I got a lot of help in the beginning. You might need that 5-10 minute phone call, just tweak something. So yeah, especially if you're in the Jersey area. All right,
bro.
All right, man.
As always, when you're stuck, call Chuck. If you're lucky, I'll bring the baby. All right. I'll talk to you
Later,
soon.
man.
Bye bye.
Later.